Sadaşivasamārambhām Shankarācārya Madhyamām Asmatacārya Paryantām Vande Guru Paramparām. Om Vāṅ Manasi Pratishtita
मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता
Mano Me Vāci Pratishthitam
मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम्
Āvirāvirmayeti
आविराविर्महेति
Vedasya Mahāni Isthah
वेदस्य महानीस्तः
Shrutam Me Ma Prahasihi
श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः
Anena Thitena
अनेन अधीतेन
Ahoratran Sandadhami
अहोरात्रान् सन्दतामि
Kritam Vadishyami
ऋतं वदिष्यामि
Satyam Vadishyami
सत्यं वदिष्यामि
Tanmamavatu
तन्मामवतु
Tatbhaktaramavatu
तद्वक्तारमवतु
Avatu Mam
अवतु माम्
Avatu Bhaktaram
अवतु भक्तारम्
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
So we were looking at the teaching which ajAtashatru is giving bAlAki. So he goes to a sleeping person and first calls out the names of the samashti prana, you can say, which were all previously we were using it for doing even upasana. The person did not wake up. In fact, in the Brihadaranyaka it says he even touched him first normally. Then also he did not wake up. Then he had to really shake him up. Then only that person wakes. So now by all these things, what ajAtashatru is trying to teach bAlAki, we have to understand. Because he is asking, where did this
person
go, correct, in the sleep? Where did he go? Where was he? In what is the nature of that person basically? That is what he is trying to teach here. And from where he come, or how did he come back, or from where did he come back? So in all these things, what is being taught is there is a Deha Vyatirikta Atma. First we have to understand. So Deha Vyatirikta Atma is there. How do we understand? Because even when you are sleeping, if I touch you, you did not wake up. If the Deha is the Atma, and if you have, when you touch the Deha must have responded, but it is not responding. So Deha cannot be the Atma. Then what about the Sukshma Sharira, in which Prana also is included? So here particularly why Prana is addressed, because in sleep Prana alone is active, correct? You may say that the mind is resolved, Indriyas are resolved, but even then Prana is very much active there. Prana Devata being there, if Prana is the Atma, then Prana must have responded for the Prana Devata's name only we have used. In fact, this point Bhashyakara puts in the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya very importantly. He says that is why this Atma is not even Prana, or it is not Sukshma Sharira also. So that Vivechanam, that separation of Atma from the Sukshma Sharira is something very important, because that is where most of us identify ourselves with. Many people can understand even the physical body is not I. That much understanding one can have. But then the I is also separate from the subtle body, which includes the prana, indriya and manas, correct? All these things. So again, manas and indriya also, it is not because they are also now prana only, correct? They have all resolved into the prana, and by addressing the prana and not getting any response, it is concluded that prana also is not Atma. So from all these things, what we understand is that this Atma is Deha Vyatirikta or Dehatma Sanghata, whatever is there here, correct? Karya Karana Sanghata we say otherwise. The body is called Karya because it is the Karya Karma itself, correct? That is why it is called Karya. And Karana means the Sukshma Sharira is the instrument through which you are gaining karma again. Through which you are also losing karma and gaining karma by experiencing everything. That is the instrument for that. So the subtle body is called Karana, physical body you gain because of your karma only. The birth of the physical body itself is due to that. Therefore, it is called Karya Karna Sanghata also is a word we normally use to refer to the Sanghata means a compound or a group or whatever, correct? Conglomeration, I don't know, so many words are there in English. Or compound, you can say. Or body, Pujya Swami used to say body, mind, sense complex. He used to call it as Sanghata means it's a complex. Okay? So whichever word you are comfortable you can use as long as you understand. So none of this is the Atma. That is the teaching. Also another important thing here is, see, whenever anything resolves, it goes back to its nature. That's what we have to understand. So if you take pot, now if the pot resolves means what? Even if you destroy the pot, what happens? It goes back into clay only, we are saying, correct? Because for us, there is no real creation or real destruction. There is only manifestation and unmanifestation. Understand that? Or differentiation and undifferentiation or whatever you can call it. Okay? You go into, or you come into a manifest state, you go back into a potential state. So like this, if you look at it, any karya, if it resolves, it has to resolve into the karana, or it has to resolve into its very nature, we say. The karana is the swarupa of karya, or tadatmya is there, we say, correct? The karya is non-separate from the karana. And whenever the karana becomes unmanifest, it has to go back into its very nature, whenever the karya becomes unmanifest, it has to go back into its very nature, which is the karana. So that is why he is asking the question, where did this Atma go means, what is its nature? That is the question actually. Whatever question here ajAtashatru is asking bAlAki is to teach the nature of this Atma, the individual self. Where does the individual self go means, when the individual self resolves, it has to go back into its very own Swarupa, which is Paramatma only. It's not different from that. That is the teaching here. This individual self itself is only an appearance, like the pot appears in the clay. Okay? And when this individual self is not available, where does it go and rest then? Means swam apito bhavati and all it is said, even in the Upanishad, even for sleeping. Swapiti means swam apito bhavati means what? You resolve into yourself, your very nature, and that very nature itself is Advitiyamuni. Because there is no second thing, there is no subject-object division, there is nothing, but still you are there, and that is your real Swarupa. And that Swarupa is also Ananda Swarupa, because everybody enjoys that. Nobody is complaining that I get sleep, correct? Nobody goes to doctor saying I get very good sleep. You go to doctor only when you don't get sleep, in fact, that is the problem. So sleep is desirable. The sleep state is Ananda only always. That's why your very Swarupa is Ananda Swarupa only. That is your very nature. That is Paramatma Swarupa. It's not different from the Paramatma Swarupa. That's what he is trying to teach here. So from where did he come back means what was the Swarupa in which the Jivatma had Laya, and from there again Jivatma is coming, and also what is the reason he is coming, Bhashyakara supplies. It's not there explicitly in the Upanishad. Bhashyakara says, see, the Jagrat itself is there only for what? For Karmakshaya. Everything is karma only for us. Why do you even have this Loka? The Loka itself is because you can have Vividha Anubhava, correct? And from Anubhava only Karmakshaya can happen. So that way karma alone is the reason for the Loka also. Karma alone is the reason for whatever you are experiencing as the Loka. So whenever karma is active, then you are in Jagrat. And if lot of karma has to be exhausted in this life means, I think you will get insomnia, because you have to be always awake to exhaust the karma. You cannot otherwise exhaust. Of course, in dream also, in waking you also gain karma. That way the jiva is called as a pita of the entire Srishti. You are the one who is creating the Srishti also. Brihadaranyaka says that, I think in first chapter, 5th Brahmana or 4th Brahmana end, the jiva itself is called the Jagatah Pita. Anyway, so you gain karma also, but in dream you only exhaust karma, you are not gaining any karma. So dream also you exhaust karma. So again, whether you dream or not also is dependent on only karma. And when temporarily the karma is, you can say, it is becoming silent or it's not active, correct? It becomes inactive. That is the state when you go into sleep. So again, whenever you get up from sleep, what is the thing? That means karma has again become active. So you get up by yourself. Or at other times you have alarm. Or somebody has to violently wake you up like this, like what ajAtashatru did, that whoever was that person who was sleeping, means again your karma is active, you have exhaust karma. So Bhashyakara links karma here, that is why you come back out of the sleep. But this sleep itself, the process of sleeping also is explained here interestingly using nadi. Okay. So in our tradition we talk about nadi. Again, there is no good translation for this nadi. Okay, don't go by translation. Some people call it nerves, some people call it artery and all that. I don't think it is either. It's neither nerves nor it is some kind of blood vessel and all that. It's sukshma in fact. It is not even sthula. That's what we have to understand. Nadi is nadi. That's all, because that is purely our concept. There is no concept of any nadi in any other culture or in other languages. So there is no point in translating it. In all Indian languages also it is nadi only. Understand that? There is no separate word or anything. Even Tamil also we use nadi. Nadi pidichu paakardu and all that. But there I think nadi can sometimes also mean this pulse and all that also they call nadi. But here I think I don't think even the pulse is a nadi. Pulse can be taken as a manifestation of nadi maybe or whatever, the activity of the nadi. So through the pulse you know whether the nadi, in the nadi something is active or not. But nadi itself is nadi. That's it. I don't know how to translate it. So here further he is saying, so bAlAki didn't know the answer for this. What is the Jivatma Swarupa? The Jivatma Swarupa is Paramatma Swarupa only. This answer bAlAki didn't know. So now ajAtashatru is explaining him. Tammo vacha ajAtashatru yatra yesha etat bAlAke purushaha ayashishta. bAlAke is again sambodhana. Hey bAlAke. So yatra etat purushaha ayashishta. So where did he sleep? Where did he go when he slept? Where did he withdraw? Means yatra etat abhut yataha etat agad. Okay. Hita nama hridayasya nadyaha hridayat puritatam abhipratanmanti. So now I am going to tell you where did this Purusha go, correct? Yatra etat Purusha, where did he go and sleep or where did he withdraw and rest? And at the time where he was really, what is its nature? What is his nature? And from where he came back. That's what I am going to tell you now. And in this context, what he is saying, Hita nama hridayasya nadyaha. It is plural. So Hita is not just one nadi. In fact, in different Upanishads, different numbers are given. Understand that. I think in Kena Upanishad it says 101 nadis are there or something. So in Kena Upanishad also the nadi comes. In Brihadaranyaka also nadi is there. Here Kaushitaki also we are seeing the nadi is talked about. Here the numbers are not given, I think. But there you can either say there are 101, 72,000 also is mentioned. Or I have heard people saying 72 crores of nadis are also there. Means think like even the blood vessels, there are main arteries, then from there other branches are there, then capillaries and all that are there, something like that. In fact, Bhashyakara in the Brihadaranyaka gives the analogy of the Ashwatha leaf. Ashwatha leaf, if you see, you can see all those, what do we say, that Like Narambu is saying,
Nerves.
right? Like the
Veins.
veins in the leaves you can see very, very clearly. Like that only the nadi is also spread all over your body, he says. That is what Puri Tatam means. Basically the membrane outside your heart is called Puri Tata. But here Bhashikara, at least in Brihadaranyaka, he takes it as the entire body. He says from the heart, all these nadis are spreading out all over your body. Abhipratanmanti. And also what is the parimana of this nadi? He says yatha sahasrada keshaha vipatitaha tavad anvyaha, means like you take a hair and split it into 1,000. Okay, it is so fine. Nadi, that means all sukshma. That's what the idea is. It's not something stula, it is not an artery or it is not nerve and all that. I don't think it is. Okay, so keshaha vipatitaha tavat anvyaha means what? It is so subtle or it is so small. Okay. Pingalasya animna tittante shuklasya krishnasya pitasya lohitasya iti. Also in the nadis you have some rasa, it is said, Bhashikara says, of different colors. So why these different colors are there and all, also he gives a reason for that, because then only you can have, it is like different colors are mixing up, means you are having different types of experiences and all that, right? Different types of stimuli you get. So that is why in this nadi, all these different colors of rasa, that which is whatever, bright or even dark or yellow, and all this red, okay, different colors of some rasa is flowing in these nadis. Tasu tada bhavati yada suktaha. So what? The jiva withdraws into the nadis. Tasu tada bhavati. At the time of sleeping, you withdraw into this nadi, into your heart itself, you withdraw through the nadis, you withdraw and go into the heart. Otherwise, you don't leave the body. Right? If you leave the body, means that becomes death. So here you only withdraw into the heart. And at that time, what? Swapnam na kanchana pashyati. You don't see anything. The one who is sleeping does not see anything, does not know anything. Means there is no second thing to see. Once you have withdrawn like this, once everything is resolved, prana alone is active, but mind and indriyas are all again resolved into the prana. Therefore, when the mind and indriyas are all not there, the jiva, the individuality is a pratibimba, we say, correct? Or it is called upahita chaitanya. Either you have to say conditioned consciousness or reflected consciousness and all that. Whichever one appeals to you, you can use. But the idea is that consciousness is always there. But for any activity and perception and all that to happen, the consciousness itself has to be either reflected or conditioned and all that. By itself, see, even light, we say by itself you cannot see. If the light is traveling in vacuum, nobody can see it. Unless it reflects off something and comes to your eyes and all that, you are not able to see the light. The light rays also you cannot generally see, but sometimes when some dust is there, very fine dust is there, you can see the rays going through and all that. So like that, consciousness is there everywhere, always. But for it to be active, the buddhi as a upadhi is required. So whether you consider the consciousness as a pratibimba or abhasa, there is abhasa also. The word chidabhasa also is used. Chid pratibimba is used. I said abhasa is mostly used as a distortion or an appearance. And pratibimba means at least it is a true reflection of the bimba. That way, because many people take the mind itself is conscious, correct? Or sentient. The sentiency is associated with the mind, but the sentiency itself comes and goes. That's what we see. When you become faint, if you faint, or if you are in sleeping, means you are not sentient. So the coming and going sentiency we are not talking about here. That's why there only we have to separate it out. As consciousness is always there as it is, because it is the one which is the unchanging, invariable in every cognition. Its ability to be conscious never goes away. That's why it is called Aluptadrika, or it is Avinashi. Viparilopaha na vidyate and all that Upanishad is saying. So even though you did not know anything in sleep, Pashyanneva na pashyati and all it says beautifully. Shrinvaneva na shrinoti. Why? Because Shrinvaneva means what? It is still the same consciousness, same awareness, which can hear, but there is nothing to be heard. There is no second thing which can be heard in sleep. There is no second thing to be seen. But its very nature is still the same. That consciousness is really I. Okay, that is the I, and that so this upadhi and all has withdrawn into the heart, means then that consciousness does not have, it is not conditioned anymore by the upadhi, it is the anupadhita. But even in sleep, if you look at sleep as a state, still we have to say that there is the karna sharira is there. That is why you get up and get up as the same person on all that. But at least sleep is a drishtanta for moksha. The Vedanta also uses the sleep as a drishtanta for moksha, because in sleep the ajnana karya at least is resolved. There is no ajnana karya. But the karana vidya is still there, or mula vidya and all it is said. So the mula vidya has to be, we have to accept. Otherwise what? Jnanam is for what purpose? In fact, Bhashyakara says in the Mandukya Bhashya and all that, unless we accept the mula vidya, what will jnanam then burn? Jnanam has to have a purpose. It has to destroy ajnanam, means that otherwise everybody can sleep and become jnani, correct? You don't require any pramana, any shravana, manana, nididhyasana, etc. So if you sleep and you get up, means you have only gone into a potential state. So potentially ajnanam is still there. That's what we call karna sharira and all that. But that is undifferentiated, unmanifest. And that's why once it becomes undifferentiated, we don't also want to separately see as a individual undifferentiated and samashti or total undifferentiated. Everything is only one undifferentiated. When we talk about undifferentiated, that's why avidya and maya are talked about as one and the same, but looked at from a different standpoint. Understand? Then some people ask a question: how can Brahman have ajnana? Brahman is jnana swarupam and all that means. Okay, Brahman. That's why from the standpoint of Ishvara or Brahman, Jagat Karanam Brahma, it is maya. It's not avidya. Understand? The one and the same thing can be maya for the mayavi and avidya for the onlooker, correct? That is the simple thing one has to understand. This some people don't understand and then they say how can Brahman be avidya? In fact, in one place, Bhashyakara says even that. In the Vedanta Bhashya, he says there is one. If you talk about ajnanam can only be there for a conscious entity, correct? Then what is the only conscious entity which is there? Means Brahman alone is conscious entity. There is no other conscious entity. Everything is only jada. We have said that everything is anatma. Therefore, you have to say that Brahman alone is also whatever deluded. Brahman alone gained this knowledge and then became again everything. Sarvam tat sarvam abhavat and all. In fact, that comes up in the 1.4.10 if you take. It is there very clearly in the Upanishad also, and Bhashyakara also accepts that. So that's why in our tradition we say that Brahman itself is the ajnana vishaya, and Brahman itself is the ajnana ashraya also. Understand? So because when we talk of ignorance, we have to say ignorance of what? If you say I don't know something, what do you not know means that is the vishaya for the ignorance, correct? So I don't know Chinese means Chinese is the ajnana vishaya. Then ajnana ashraya is what? Me as an individual, jivatma itself is the ashraya. But then when we talk about atma ajnanam, so there also two views are there. Okay. So jiva is the ajnana ashraya also they say for atma ajnanam, like bhamati and all. Bhamati prakriya is that they don't want, they say that Brahman cannot be taken as the Ajnana Ashraya. They don't like, they have an aruchi for that. Okay? So there the teaching is that Jiva itself is the Ajnana Ashraya. Then you can say there is a Anyonya Ashraya dosha is there, because we say Jiva itself is due to avidya and avidya is in Jiva. So like that means they say no, because it is anadi, there is no anyonya. You can get out of anyonya ashraya by saying both are anadi. So don't ask which started first. Chicken and egg problem, how do you solve it? Both are beginningless. Like that also there is one prakriya is there. But whatever Pujya Swamiji and we are all following, we are following Vivarana, you can say, at a high level. Okay, of course, even with, if you go and study Vivarana, there are so many things are there. It is so detailed, lot of things are being talked about. But anyway, so we largely go by the Vivarana, means we say that Brahman itself is the Ashraya. For us we don't, because Ajnana, anyway Ajnana is Mithya, right? It's all Mithya only. It doesn't matter which,
actually,
what is the Ashraya.
In Gita Bhashya, Bhashyakara says the question itself is irrelevant.
Correct. Question itself from Brahma standpoint, there is no Ajnanam at all, correct? So that's why even Mandukya Upanishad, Gaudapada Acharya is very clear. He says there is no mumukshu, there is no moksha, there is no bandha. What are you talking about? Ityesha paramarthata, like that. He says that there is no teaching, there is no teacher also. So all this vyavahara, because that is one thing Dvaitins also say. If you say that Dvaita is mithya, then what about this teaching vyavahara? We say, who said teaching vyavahara is real? Teaching vyavahara also is equally unreal. Like Veda also is equally unreal. They are all like only dream tiger only. Right? To wake you up, a dream tiger is good enough. So that's how it is all looked at. So anyway, here the idea is what? When this jiva has withdrawn into all this through this nadi, and then what? When you are sleeping, you don't see anything. There is no second thing also. At that time, your nirvishesha atma, correct? Your swarupa is nirvishesha swarupam. That jnanam itself is nirvikalpaka jnanam only, we say, because at that time you the anubhava, whatever anubhava you had, is an anubhava where there was no subject object thing. There was no division at all. Any kind of division is not there. When no division is there, but still that anubhava is there, that's why you are able to recollect and say, I did not know anything. So that anubhava itself, we take it as nirvikalpaka jnanam only. That is a pramana for it. Sushupti is a pramana, because when you argue with Vishishta-Advaitin, they say that there is no chance of any nirvikalpaka jnanam, and there is no nirvikalpa vastu itself. That is their argument. Everything is savikalpaka, the jnanam also is savikalpaka, and all vastu, all entities are savishesha only. All are qualified only. And Brahman also is, that is why for them it is Vishishta. After saying Vishishta, I don't know why they even say Advaita, because it makes no sense, correct? Vishishta means already there is a Visheshana and a Vishishta, Advaita has come. So Pujya Swamiji used to say, this Advaita and all they cannot even claim. Everybody is Dvaitin only. Anybody other than Advaitin is a Dvaitin. And all of them together only Bhashyakara also addresses. Even he says in the Taittiriya Upanishad, he even makes a pratigna that I will now take all these Dvaitins on and I will defeat them in the argument and all that. So anyway, so here, na kanchana swapnam na kanchana pashyati atha asmin pranaha eva ekadha bhavati. So now, at that time, the prana upadhi is still there, everything is there, but then still the consciousness, the chidabhasa or chid pratibimba is not there to know anything. Unless it is there, the subject-object division cannot be there. So ekatha eva bhavati. So it is all one alone. There is no second thing to be known. So then what? Tatha enam. So at that time what happens? Again, this part we have already seen before also, correct? Vak sarvaihi namabihi saha apyeti. So the vak, along with all the names, has resolved into or entered into this prana. Then what? Shrotram sarvaihi shabdaihi saha apyeti. So the organ of hearing also, with all the sounds it has entered into this prana, and sarvaihi rupaihi saha chakshu. Chakshu sarvaihi rupaihi saha. Oh no, before that manaha is there. Okay. Manaha sarvaihi dhyataihi saha apyeti. Chakshu sarvaihi rupaihi saha apyeti. Shrotram sarvaihi shabdaihi saha apyeti. Okay, it is all repeating here or what? What? Okay. There is some mistake here. It is all manaha again is coming. Okay, anyway. But anyway, you understand. So, vak, shrotram, chakshuhu, manas, all these four means it's a upalakshan of our everything else also. All of them enter this prana, which is ekadha, which is one, which everything, all of them have resolved into this. And then when he wakes up, what happens again? Same thing, correct? Vispulanga also was talked about here. So in the Brihadaranyaka, actually, one more analogy also is given, that Yatorna Nabihi also is talked about. Like even in the Mundaka Upanishad also, that Urna Nabihi means spider. Spider analogy is also talked about. So in these two things, two different aspects are taught to you. So when we say when he gets up, again then all the things are there, correct? Like a big bang, everything comes. So when you get up, what yatha agnehe jvalataha vispulingaha vipratishteran evameva etasmad atmanaha pranaha yatha yatam vipratishtante pranebhyaha devaha devebhyaha lokaha. So this part actually we have seen even before, correct? That when he wakes up, first all the indriyas and pranaha means here indriyas and manas and all that we have to take, they all come. Along with that, all the adhisthana devatas come, and then from the devatas, all the indriya vishayas are also, they all come. That means both the subject and object rise together when you wake up. Like even the spark means, the idea of this spark is very important, because based on this spark analogy, the Vishishtadvaitins claim that even Chaitanyam is a Visheshana of Brahman, they say. Like different sparks are the Visheshana of Agni or whatever, Jwala. But we look at it differently. Because even in the 15th chapter, Bhagavan says, Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhutas Sanatanaha. So the Jiva is my Amsha, Bhagavan says. So they talk about then Amsha, Amshi Bhava is there, which is again like a Visheshana and Vishishta. So part and the whole, the relationship between the part and the whole and all this, Amsha, Amshi, Bhava. But what we say is the Vispulinga analogy, why it is given, we have to understand. The analogy is for only to show that the Swarupa of the spark is not different from the Swarupa of the flame, correct? They are all really Agni only at the end of the day. A single spark is good enough to burn the entire forest, given whatever the conditions. So the spark, the Jiva Swarupa is Ananya only from the whatever. Jivatma Swarupa is the same as Paramatma Swarupa. So even when Bhagavan says Mamaiva Amshaha, means that there the Bhagavan is not trying to teach you the Amsha Amshi Bhava or anything, only to say that the Jiva Swarupa and Parameshwara Swarupa are one and the same, because the spark is not any different from any big flame or anything. It is of the same nature, correct? And the spark itself can burn an entire forest also. That is good enough. One spark is good enough. We all know. Even here, we used to see so many, when we were doing Gurukula here, all these hills used to burn. Or maybe sometimes they willfully only they burn it, I think, some people. But we have seen that this entire hill used to be burning, in fact. At night, you can see like a lot of smoke is coming, like even that burning is the problem even in Delhi now, correct? Like burning of all this hay and all that, like that, sometimes they burn. In fact, in some grasslands and all they burn, even within the forest every year, so that otherwise it becomes too big. The grass themselves goes 10-12 feet and all that. it's difficult to enter. So anyway, so here the Vispulingaha, we have to understand, Bhashyakara argues that the Vispulinga analogy is to only show that the Jiva Swarupa and Paramatma Swarupa are non-different, they are one and the same. So like the Jiva, this Vispulinga comes, all this entire subject-object world comes out. When you again wake up, Pratibudhyate, Pranebhya Devaha, Devebhya Lokaha, Tadyata Kshuraha, Kshuradhyane Hitaha Syat, Vishwambharaha va Vishwambharakulaya, Evameva Yesha. So a couple of other analogies are also given. And again, see, the razor is kept within there is a particular, you always have, the razor cannot be carried just like that, it is dangerous. So it always has a certain, you can say a box or some covering and all that, correct? Or the sword has its own, what do we call it in English? Sheath. Okay, you can say sheath, or there is a particular name, scabbard.
Scabbard.
So it is there within that. So when it is within that, it is not very obvious, correct? It has gone into, you can say, a potential state. Then when you remove it from that, basically it has become manifest now. Or like Vishwambharaha means Agni only here. So the Agni, if you say this Arani Matana and all we say, correct? So normally what we say is, even fire is hiding in the wood only. It is all over the wood, but it is potentially there. Then when you use friction and all that, basically the fire comes out of the wood and then it spreads. So like even the Vishwambharaha here is only the another name for Agni. Vishwambhara Kulaya Evameva Yesha Prajnaha Atma Idam Shariram Anupravishta. So in this manner only this Atma is pervading. This how the word itself is within the sheath, or how the Agni is there everywhere within the Arani, like that. Arani is a kind of wood which they use ceremonially to make fire traditionally. Even today in many places they do that. Otherwise nowadays for ease of use they put this camphor and burn. But ideally speaking you are supposed to create the Agni with that. So in some very traditional places where they do some big Vaidika karma, they make fire like that. So anyway, so like this Atma, Prajnaha Atma, the Atma which is sentient, which is aware, which is consciousness, enters this body, idam shariram anupravishta, alomebhyaha, anakebhyaha, means what? It is pervading right up to your nails and even your hair, it is said. The Atma is there everywhere in the body, it is all pervasive in the body, like the two analogies which are given. So when you wake up also, you have identity with the body, but since the Atma is pervading the body, again what the Upanishad is telling, it is still different from the body. That is the main thing again, understand that. Like even the scabbard example, how we have to look at it to show that the actual sword is different from the sheath. Or even the Agni is different from the Arani in which it is potentially there, or it is pervading. Like this Atma. So the Deha Vyatirikta Atma, whose Swarupa is Paramatma only. It is not any different from Paramatma. That's what ajAtashatru is teaching here. So now what finally he has taught. Now what is the nature of this Atma again? He is making it very clear. Tam yetam Atmanam etam Atmanaha. Okay, again one more analogy is given here. Okay, tam etam Atmanam etam Atmanaha anvavasyati yata sreshtinam swastad yatha sreshtaihi swaihi bhunte yatha va sreshtinam swa bhunjanta evameva yesha prajnaha atma etaihi atmabihi bhunte. So here, see, when this Jivatma, which is of the nature of consciousness, that is like the Swami. They are Sreshtaihi. Sreshtinam here means one who is preeminent and all. Correct? Like the master. So the Dehi is the Swami. And all the other Avayavas, everything else, the Indriyas, they are all like the Vidya only. Right? They are all like servants. And also they are all nourished by this consciousness, it is said here. Okay? Or they take the nourishment from the consciousness itself, because unless this sentiency is there, they are not able to function. Correct? Only in the presence of consciousness, everything is able to function as it is. So for their very functioning, where do they get the nourishment from? Means from this Sreshtinam, means this Tidabhasa or Chit Pratibimba only is the sentience. Sentiency alone is the one which is nourishing all these things. And so here tam yetam atmanam, and another atmanaha is there, correct? One atma here is the atma word can be used in context to mean many different things. So here all the dehatma sanghata only is, or karyakarna sanghata is called as atma. One atma there. Another atma is the actual chaitanya atma or the vijnanamaya atma is talked about. So the physical body and all the indriyas and mind and prana and all are taking the nourishment from the whatever the consciousness alone, or the conditioned consciousness. That is what is said here. Like even whoever is the master feeds all the everybody else. Otherwise, if he doesn't feed, he cannot even take any work from them also. Correct? So like that, Bhunte. And also yata sreshti swaihi evam va etam atmanam eta atmanaha anvavasyanti yata sreshtinam swaha sa yavadha va indra etam atmanam na vijagnyau. Okay, the other thing is they also follow, it is said here. Anvavasyanti means they follow this Chaitanya Atma alone. They are also nourished by it. They are all following this Chaitanya Atma. Who is the Sreshti again? Yata Sreshti Swaihi Evam Va Etam Atmanam Eta Atmanaha Anvavasyanti is there. So they all are nourished by this Atma, they all follow this Atma. Yatha Sreshtinam Swaha. So those who are with the master, they follow. As the one who is preeminent, they follow him. And then another interesting thing is said here. What is that? Sa yavadha va Indra etam atmanam na vijagnyau. Till the time Indra didn't know about this Atma, one's own self, then what? Tavad enam asuraha abhibabhu uhu. Till that time, the asuras were able to attack Indra. Okay. So the asuras means here, asuras means what? Asusur amate iti asuraha only. Bhashyakara takes even in the Vedanta Bhashya. So the one who goes after the sense objects. Asusur means, so one who revels in the sense objects means the Indriyas themselves are looked upon as asura if it is going by itself. If you leave it by its very nature, natural tendency is to be asura. But then he says, when does the same Indriya become Deva? Indriya is Deva also. He says, when the Indriyas act according to the whatever Shastra Vihita, whatever is mandated by the Shastra, if you follow all that, then that same Indriya becomes Deva. So here also, if even Indra thinks that he is an individual Jivatma, then he will be attacked by, he will also go after all that Indra has done all that, correct, and he got lot of, he was given Shapa, he got curse, and all that we have Purana stories. So even Indra, he is really Indra only when he has this Atma Jnanam. Otherwise he is also a Jiva, maybe a very exalted Jiva, but still if you are only a Jiva, means you are subjected to attack by Asuras. You are also going to go after all this sense objects only, then you are no more Indra. So, sa yada vijajñau atha hatva asuran vijitya sarvesham bhutanam sraishtyam swarajyam adhipatyam paryeti. So when he knew this Brahman, this Atma, one's own Atma as Paramatma or Brahman, then what happened? Sa yada vijijñau, then atha, thereafter he defeated all the asuras. Okay, he no more identifies with all this, his own individuality in fact. So he has now killed all the asuras, and then he becomes preeminent, or again he becomes Sreshta among all the beings. Sarvesham Bhutanam Sraishtyam Swarajyam. So Swarajyam means what? Again self-mastery. Apnoti Swarajyam, Apnoti Manasaspatim, like that comes in Taittiriya also as a Upasana Phala. So you gain Swarajya means what? You become Manasaspatim and all this. So you are the master of your own mind and all your sense organs and all. That is again coming back. Swarajya is that. Swarajya is really Moksha Swarupa. Means you are completely free. That is freedom only is called Swarajya here. Mastery over everything. Adhipatyam also. You are the overlord. Adhipati of everything. Paryeti. Tato eva evam vidvan sarvesham bhutanam sraishtyam swarajyam adhipatyam paryeti evam veda. So the one who knows like what Indra has known also will attain the same swarajya, same adhipatya, and also will become the preeminent or the most exalted among all beings. Sarvesham bhutanam sraishtyam swarajyam adhipatyam paryeti. He will gain that, he will attain to that. So with that this Upanishad is over. So okay, so I think we got the vision of the Upanishad. This is at least the third and fourth chapter are very interesting here. And like I said, even these two chapters are covered in the Anubhuti Prakasha also, you can refer. And this fourth chapter with slight variations, it is there also in the Brihadaranyaka. Further, the prana itself is given an Upanishad or a secret name, Satyasya Satyam. And that Satyasya Satyam Bhashya is very big. There Bhashyakara takes on all the Vishishtadvaitins and Dvaitins and argues why their interpretation and all is not correct. Because the prana, there is a big argument whether that prana which is called Satyasya Satyam is a Jivatma or Paramatma, and what is the nature of that prana, etc. So that is also there, you can go and refer to that. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om